Hello, hi to everyone watching from Ludonarracon. I'm one of the developers on Welcome to Elk. My name is Murray Summerwolf. I am the art director and co-writer on the game. For a short synopsis to anyone who doesn't know what Welcome to Elk is, it is a narrative game based on real stories. What does that mean? It means that our other co-writer and also game director and CEO of Triple Topping, Astrid Restrup, her brother Lauga went traveling to rural America and also Greenland, and he met a whole host of amazing and articulate people who told him these stories, which were just too good to be true. And when Largo then told them back to Astrid, she knew that she had to make a game out of these. So that's what Welcome to Elk is. Welcome to Elk is the game based on these stories. And what I'd like to do with this stream is I would like to discuss a little bit about the art direction and world building of the game. Like, how did we take this concept of the idea of the stories and create it into the setting in the world that we inhabit in the game that you see today? So, what I'd first like to show you is these are the original illustrations and drawings from Astrid's first incarnation of Elk, which was based on her BA project that she did. And for me, when I came onto the title, these were the first things I was shown because there was original first attempt of what the game was now, and then when I came onto the team, the idea was okay, let's like evolve this. Let's turn it into like a fully fledged game. So for me, I really loved the pencil drawings and the kind of monochrome. It gave like some kind of weight to the idea that the stories were real, even though it had this cartoony uh style. It had something in it which had a little bit of grit, and I really liked that. So the first thing we did when I was working on the title was we made this initial prototype, and the prototype I leaned into. I mean, we didn't have a lot of time, but I really leaned into like a kind of cartoony, illustrative type. This black and white feelings, like this scene here, for instance, something which felt like it could be kind of dark at the same time. It was fun and allowed this flavor of like humor. And the kind of idea of the setting was that it would be like a kind of an Americana, kind of a small American rural town, maybe a little bit similar to the likes of Trailer Park Boys and a little bit of Twin Peaks, that kind of like diner, small like American hub. And for the initial prototype, we were happy with these kind of results, but when we started probing it and thinking about it more, we were like, the kind of the essence of what the game was about kind of got lost, and we went back to the drawing board and started to think, well, could we relocate this to somewhere a bit more culturally relevant to, as people might not know, the studio is based in Denmark, in Copenhagen, and we wanted to find a way of crossing over different cultures and taking a little bit more of the America out of it. So what we did was, when thinking about it, we tried out different locations, and this is a sketch of an island that I created, and with little flourishes of story with the abandoned brewery and this unfinished railway bridge, things which made it kind of iconic, and we really like we were really attached to that. We liked the idea. An island became what seemed like the perfect hub for a place to put stories where you could have people from all different walks of life end up on this island, and where these stories could really like feel like they could exist. And one of the ideas was that this would be somewhere kind of maybe in like the Atlantic Ocean, which could help give it a place. So with that in mind, with the art style, I started to push it and explore the original idea with the monochrome, not losing that the thread line from the initial from that initial game, but instead trying to evolve it and develop it into something which was a bit more rich. So playing with the idea of more like with shadow and with space, some physicality, and also with the idea of very muted small colors just helping to break through and make the scenes come to life. And when I talk about the physicality, that became really important to us. And I actually made a library of these hand-drawn textures that you can see now, and playing around with the art in this particular kind of way and finding ways to create something which made a contrast between something which could be like seen as illustrative but also feel real. That became really important with us and started to build up to an art style which I think we all start to feel was what the game was about. And in that case, we started to build more of a picture of like the kind of houses and how color could be used and the characters. And progress was going pretty well. The only thing was we were starting to feel that like there was a little bit of naivety going on. Like although we were exploring this in a fun way, there was something that felt like it was missing. So what we did was we did like a world building workshop where we sat down and we came up with all the strict rules of this island elk. Like what kind of climate is it? Where exactly is it? Like it's somewhere just off Greenland in the Atlantic Ocean. It's what would the wildlife be like? What kind of structure, economy? Like how does it work? What does it mean to live on elk? What would you see? And doing this and finding the references and kind of compiling this kind of real life picture of it really started to help with the art style. We started to have a direction for how things would be, like buildings, how they would be wooden and like have these supports as they like, built into the rocky and harsh like landscape. How if they had more modern homes, they might just look like trailer parks. Um, and when we started making that decision, it really helped to flesh out all of the details. You could start to like compile these lists of like nature and objects. Um, and even then with the color, it kind of helped for us to design this idea that, as you can see on the left, these are things which are not interactable, while on the right, these are things which are interactable. So the color became purposeful and designed. And when you start to put all that together, you start to finally get a sense that the style was working. It was something which had a harmony. Everything could have worked together. Like characters would like pop through these scenes. You'd see in the background things which felt like that were telling a story about this environment. What kind of like island and place is this? You have there on a beer machine on the left how like color could like help in the one hand aesthetically help break up the monochrome, which could be maybe a little bit oppressive, but at the same time it also worked as a design choice because then we're telling the players very explicitly this is something you can interact with. And yeah, when all these elements start to come together, we've ended up with this something which is illustrative, but also it has a feeling of weight, which is what I really liked from those initial drawings that I saw from Astrid's first game, where it was something which felt like it could be fun and accessible, but it was also something which felt like it could also allow sadness and it could also allow some moments of brevity and meaning. In the same way, I guess one of our biggest inspirations is BoJack Horseman. I think that's a fantastic show for how you can use an accessible art style to um, lure an audience into dealing with like hard themes. And of course, once you have like an island worked out in the place, it means you can start to put characters in. Here's a little roster call of all the characters that live in Elk. But I think we found that once we found this location where it felt real, it made it so much easier to start putting characters into there and making them like, of course, like this is their home, and that was really fun. That was a really fun thing to do. And I guess when we had the art style worked out, what was really cool was that it meant we had opportunities to start doing exploration by pushing on the boundaries of what the art style could do because we have all these mini games. And this is a mini game taken from our demo, which is sort of the beginning of the game, where it's a kind of like Simon Says kind of dance off. But then later in the game, we have these other moments of other mini games, like pouring beer, making a face for our character Anis, who's lost his parents. And what the fun thing is that with such a solid foundation of the art style and of the world that they live in, through the mini games and through the other elements, we can start to explore more of the art style and push them more to different extremes. So then you have moments of this, which is one of the more harder hitting moments in our game. You can really, uh, you can really punctuate the emotion You can really set the scene. You can really bring the players in and use the art style to its maximum efficiency in that way. And for me, as an art director, that's really fun. That's really exciting, and I think that's been one of the real joys of Welcome to Elk is that by playing around with the idea of real stories and also the idea of fiction and tall tales through the art, we've managed to create something which allows both the ability to have fun and be playful at the same time, never going too far as of not to take away the right attention when the story needs it. If a story is heartbreaking, the story should remain heartbreaking, and the art style should do everything it can to make the player feel that and experience it in the same way that we were told those stories. So yeah, I think that's it's brief, but I think like that's a little fun journey for everyone to know about the game. If you'd like to know more and you would like to see more of the art and more of the story and everything about it, I would absolutely ask you to wishlist us on Steam. If you'd like to hear more in the before the game comes out and hear more about development, please hit us up at Triple Topping on Twitter and on Discord. We have a Discord where we're now sharing information on a regular basis. But otherwise, thanks so much for tuning in and listening. Please get in touch if you have any questions. But otherwise, I hope everyone stays safe and enjoys the rest of the festival. Thanks a lot.